And it was 2%, around 2% of the total population. They said approximately 30% of the Southern men between the ages of 18 and 45, 30%, and 10% of the Northern young men between the ages of 18 and 45. So it really decimated the population, as you can tell. There was more killed in this war than all the other wars combined, from the Revolutionary War through Vietnam. More casualties in the Civil War than that war combined. In fact, I think it even goes even further now to the Desert Storm and the Afghanistan and all that. But we know, I looked it up because World War I and II, they only had like 200,000 combined. And so you're talking 600,000 men here over. Why the high casualty rate? Right here. This is the reason for the high casualty rate. Right here. This is accounted for. This is a Civil War musket, Springfield, and it was used by the Confederate and the Union forces both. Why is this gun so responsible for that? When the Civil War first started out, the generals in the Civil War were using the same tactics that were used in the Revolutionary War. And during the Revolutionary War, they had a musket that looked very similar to this, but it was a smoothbore gun, okay? And it shot a ball like this, and you can pass that around now. But it was a smoothbore gun, highly inaccurate. You've seen the movies and everything where the armies get about a football field apart and they sit there and start banging away at each other, and blazing away. Well, the reason they did that, they couldn't hit anything with their guns. I mean, they were very, very inaccurate. They weren't within 50 yards, probably much more than 100 yards. They couldn't hit anything. And actually, those tactics go back to Napoleon, and they were still using Napoleon tactics at the start of the Civil War. This gun had been introduced. What's different about this gun is, number one, it has what's called a rifled barrel. And a rifled barrel means it has grooves in it. And these grooves are twisted like this. And what that does, that imparts a spin to the bullet and makes it much more accurate than the old smoothbore with the ball flying out the side. The other thing that made it very, very, and this is the key, this is called a mini ball. This is called a mini ball. But we call it a mini ball. The correct name is Minié ball. It was invented by a Frenchman. He invented the rifling, and he invented this bullet. And it's supposed to be the Minié bullet, but being Americans that we are, it came out the mini ball. And when I first saw it, I said, first of all, there's nothing mini about this thing, right? It's huge. It weighs almost 5/8, almost 3 ounces, but it's Minié, and it was supposed to be the Minié bullet. It's a .58 caliber. But this is a very unique bullet. First of all, you'll see, of course, it's pointed, where the other ball was round. But this is the secret back here, is the hollow point, or the hollow end of this bullet. And what would happen when you discharge the gun, the charge would expand this bullet. This would blow out and stick it to the side of the barrel. And you really put the twist on this bullet. And so it became very, very accurate. And so 2 things about this bullet, just besides that, actually there's 3 things. One, the hollow base on the bullet. Number 2, it exploded on impact. It's lead, and it would just come apart. And the guns today and the bullets today will actually go all the way through a person's body. As you know, this wouldn't. It stops. And it's real good about taking out arms and limbs and things that would just crush the bone, because it just explodes and impacts on the bone. The other thing, these grooves in it, which help it to stick to the barrel, also had a lot of disease in it and carried a lot of filth and waste. And a lot of this would bring it right into your body. All this, and so as you know, many of the, in fact, my paternal great-grandfather, who was at the Battle of Shiloh, died from his wounds at Shiloh at home, and that's where a lot of the troops did. If they weren't killed on the battlefield, they went home, and a lot of them died from such things as that. Anyway, this is a Springfield Musket. How you fire this gun is interesting too, and I'll show you. Well, it also has a bayonet that goes with it. If you think that's a formidable weapon, when you put this bayonet on it, and I'm not going to do it because it's so high, then this goes on there like that. Okay, so this is a real formidable weapon. You can see it's high. I'm almost six feet. It's higher than I am, just sitting on the ground. Now, in the movies and the things you'll see are the pictures. You'll see they got their bayonets on their rifles, on their muskets almost all the time. Okay, even they have a lot of bayonet charges. But other than that, main reason they kept their bayonets on their muskets is that it's great for taking a guy off of a horse, because you can get up that high with that bayonet and pick him off. And your officers rode horses, or new cavalry. So that was a great little, they call them a toothpick, and for getting them off the horses. To fire this gun, it's a 3-4-step operation. The way it's a single shot, muzzle load, and the cartridges came in a little wax container. And the guy would take one, and you saw with his little, they all had their little pouches, their little leather pouches. Standard issue was 40 rounds of ammunition. 40 rounds of ammunition would give them 20 minutes of intense firing on the battlefield. So they had a little leather pouch. In that leather pouch, they had their little wax container of their cartridge. You take that wax container out, you break it open in your mouth, and they said on the battlefield, the guy's face would be totally black from gunpowder. Because inside that cartridge was a cartridge, a little bit of gunpowder, and that mini ball. So you break that thing open, pour the gunpowder down there, take the mini ball, set it on the muzzle of the gun, and this comes out. This is your ramrod. I'm not going to take it out. It comes all the way out. Ramrod comes out. You ram her down in the muzzle. Now you want to pack that down good and tight, because it's got to go all the way down right here. That's why the rod's so long, the ramrod's. It's got to be right here, okay? The next step is, once you get it loaded like that, cock it, and then you have to put the little, did I take one out? I don't know, I don't guess I did. These are, you can pass those around. These are percussion caps. And a percussion cap goes on this nipple right here. And put that on there, that's fine. Yeah. Oh, that's fine. You can throw them, pass them around. It's so, yeah, it's so small. But anyway, the percussion cap goes here, and now you're ready to fire. Okay, so that's a 3 or 4 step operation. For me to shoot this gun, it takes about a minute for me to load it and fire. On the battlefield, the guys could shoot them 4 times a minute. That's how fast they were. 4 times a minute. I mean, they had a lot of practice.
Do you shoot them?
Oh, I've never shot this one. I shot my pistol, but not this one. I mean, it's a shooter though. Yeah, it's been shot many times.
That's the original rifle.
Yeah.
That was made in 1860.
Yeah, this is original,
Is
1863.
that your grandfather's?
No, this one, no. Just the saber belonged to him. Anyway, back to the gun for just a minute. These guns were so accurate, they had sights on them. This is the first musket or rifle they ever put sights on. That's how accurate this gun was. The other ones had just a smooth barrel on there. There's one for 300 yards, the other one for 600 yards. So anyway, this is what caused all the casualties, right? You can find it on Springfield Armory, Massachusetts.